Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video. This time, I'm very excited about this tag. This time it is a video response to K at Amidst the Gray, and this is Coffeehouse decks. I should start by saying I was super excited to see this tag, but the problem was, when it was first coming out, I was about to take off to go to India. So I didn't have time to film before I left. So I'm doing this now. And I'm going to preface this by saying, oh man, so the original, I'm going to link the original video below. And originally this video has, it has 13 different coffee drinks that are featured and related to a deck. What is that on this? Sorry. And maybe people are going to be pissed at me. I don't know. I added 2. So, yeah, this video is going to have 15 decks featured. Sorry, not sorry. And I'll try to go as quick as I can. So let's start with the prompts for this tag. The first one is ESPRESSO SHOT, a deck that's strong, punchy, and gets straight to the point. And the reason why I picked the Dream Vision Tarot is because, I mean, look at this. Strong, punchy, beautiful colors, but get straight to the point. You know this is about death, right? 9 of Swords, okay? I guess you can get some anxiety. It's strong, it's punchy, straight to the point. Things are kind of, you know, awful in the head. Even this, the Queen of Wands, you get the energy of who she is. She's fiery, she's passionate, she's confident. Look at her cat that looks like my kitty. So it's just a beautiful deck, but because it's more, even look at this Judgment, this is crazy, but because this deck is so strong and punchy in color, with also having simplicity in its design, I would say the Dream Vision Tarot is very straight to the point, in my opinion, especially this 8 of Swords, my goodness. So that is my choice for the ESPRESSO SHOT. I almost went, you guys should be proud of me, I almost went with the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, but I don't think that deck is considered straight to the point for everybody, so I did not. Anyways, next deck, okay? Next one is the Drip, a deck that's simple, accessible, and gets the job done. Now, accessible, it depends on what you mean by accessible. Is it that it's accessible because it's easy to find? And whoops, because this is on Etsy, but the creator's in the UK, so maybe that's not what it means by accessible. But for me, accessible is it's easy artwork. It is simple, and it gets its job done because, right, this is basically a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but it's kitty cats. And I'm showing it this way just so you can see, right? It's simple. You can tell this is the lovers. They're very cute. It's a clone. You can tell this is like, you know, simple artwork. It's accessible. People who have been studying even just the Rider-Waite-Smith for a little bit could get the meanings from these because, again, it's a clone. Oh, this High Priestess is so cute. So it's simple, it's accessible, and it's not going to confuse anybody with the meanings. So I'm going to go quickly. So yeah, this is the Mini Cat Tarot. You can get this deck on Etsy. And yeah, Mini Cat Tarot. Next is the Pour-Over. It is a deck that you need to take your time with, but is totally worth it. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, it is the Guided Hand Tarot for me. The Guided Hand Tarot, this deck is beautiful, but I think you need to take your time with it because it is collage style, and there's a lot of different meanings and things you can get out of this deck, right? Like Judgment, or even this one, right? I think you need to take your time with it just because the images are so beautiful. And it could say a lot, or you have to kind of think for a second about why it's related to what it is. And so that's why I think this deck, you need to sit down with it and look at these images and kind of decide for yourself what it's trying to tell you. So I don't know. It's just one where you need to take your time. The other deck I would have said runner-up would have been the Monsoon Tarot. And that would only be if I showed it, but I'm not going to show it today. That would have been my other one. But I think the Guided Hand is special, and it's a deck that you need to sit with for a bit. This one you can also find on Etsy. Right there. Okay. That's the Guided Hand. And that's the pour over. So the CAFE LATTE is a deck that's well received and highly palatable. I had to think about this one because I have tarot decks, yes. Half of them, I mean, I don't have a big collection. Like, I have about 23 to 25 that are just tarot, right? Just tarot. I didn't put any oracle into this tag. And of those decks, I had to be like, okay, well, half of these are indie and the other half are mass market. But which of these is like actually highly palatable and which of these is actually the most well received? And I think for that, it is, get ready, the Tarot of the Divine. For the most part, okay, I've had some people who've had complaints about this deck. I think mainly, like me, it'd probably be cardstock and the fact that the guidebook should have a little more in it. But besides those, I think this deck is very well received and highly palatable because, well, for one, the artwork is stunning. And two, because the fact that it covers fairy tales, and it covers fairy tales from around the world. See, this is a Nancy, right, for the Wheel of Fortune. This is an, oh, I forget which one this is, but this is an Indian myth, or Hindu specifically tale, I believe. So this deck is just highly palatable and well received because and it's also mass market, right? So it's easy to get a hold of. Artwork is beautiful. And it's bound to please everybody in some way because it covers so many different, you know, stories and tales. And look, even like Our Lady of, I think this is Our Lady of Guadalupe, pretty sure. Or at least some version of Mary, right? And it's beautiful. It's got some interesting diversity of obviously in it because it's tales from around the world. But even just like body image stuff and like other creatures and things. So this deck, I would say, is very well received. So it is the CAFE LATTE, right? It's a deck that most people can pick up. Most people can get access to. You can find it on a lot of places. And yeah. So next one is number 5 is the Cappuccino, a deck that's classic, sophisticated, and maybe a bit fussy. Sorry, I had to pause because my brain went somewhere else. I went to a different image. And for me, I think it's this one, okay? I think this is the Cappuccino of the tarot world. Maybe not. Some would say this is more dark. But it's the most classic and sophisticated deck in my collection, in my opinion. And I'll show you why. So this deck has been around, This deck has been around a while. It's a classic animal deck for those who like animals. This is a classic animal deck. It's sophisticated. Like, look at how beautiful. It's got gilded edging, which I think always makes things a little blingy and sophisticated. And sometimes, though, because it's an animal deck and because it's also a pip deck, I think it is a little bit fussy. Because sometimes, Like, okay, 5 of Swords, right? It's like, can you always tell what it's trying to tell you? And sometimes you can. Sometimes you can't. But most people, it is a classic. Like I said, it is a classic, fancy, sophisticated animal deck. Oh, it's also on this great linen. You guys can see the waffle in it. Great linen finish. So sometimes it's fussy though. Like sometimes it's not 100% clear to me what I was supposed to get out of it. I have to kind of, I guess this is another deck you kind of have to sit with. But yeah, but it's really, it's been, like I said, it's been around. You can find this on Etsy. It's been around a while. It's nice and classic. And yeah, so that's the cappuccino, my cappuccino deck. Okay, next one is my favorite coffee drink, actually, is the mocha. It's a deck that's rich, indulgent, and a bit extra because obviously mochas have some chocolate in them. And I'm going to say it is the Prisma Visions. I could have, the deck that I'm actually going to put a second to last on this list could have also fit in this category, and I'll get to that later. But the reason why I put Prisma Visions is because it is really like the rich deck. It has so much like vibrancy and meaning that you could say to this deck. It is indulgent because, I mean, look at that. Look at, it's an indulgent art style. It's like very, very colorful. And it's also a bit extra because, I mean, even this mini version, right? You have like really silver gilding. How extra the backs are. How extra the colors are. So it's very indulgent and rich. And I love this deck. That's why it feels very personal in that way too. But yeah, it's very rich. So much meaning can be taken from this. It just, oh, I don't know. It's always going to be one of those. It's definitely so extra. If I look at this Knight of Swords, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. But it is extra. Like this deck also, I don't think this is for everyone because like if you don't like a lot of bright colors and like how, you know, just how much detail and stuff is in these cards, you won't like this as much. Not everybody likes mochas, right? Because they are a little extra. But I do. And I think this is my mocha deck. So this is the Prisma Visions Tarot. And I have the version that's the little Prisma in a tin. Little Prisma Visions. Okay. Next is the Cortado, a deck that's balanced and objective. And to be honest, I almost omitted this one because I was like, what the hell? Do I have a deck that's very balanced? Because some decks you could say they go one way, they go in a different way. So I was like, I don't know. Do I? I had to think for a second. Do I have a deck that seems balanced and objective? And I think I do. And that is the Shadowscapes Tarot. And the reason why I say this is more balanced and objective is because of its, well, for one, like look at the backs too, like they're reversible, so you could read them either way. It's purple, but it's not like an in-your-face garish purple. And then let's look at the artwork, right? So this is death. It's not a scary death, right? It's more balanced and objective. It's the story of the phoenix that can rise again from the ashes after having, you know, going through the cycles. And I think that's a more balanced way of looking at the death card, right? Even this temperance is about balance, the two energies combining, and they're not, it's not like it's light either. There's, let me see, well, this card kind of is. Let me see. There's some cards in here. Oh, this is a high priestess. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, let me do this. There's some cards in here that seem definitely more balanced to me. Like this emperor could be more strict, but he's not, like, look at his face. but he's not like a complete, you know, like stone cold faced. That sometimes the Emperor is depicted as, I should say. Where is it? Like, it's balanced and objective, I think, because it also has, see, like this Six of Swords kind of seems really sad. But then it also has, like, the Eight of Swords is like really dark and dramatic looking. But then you can get the Seven of Wands, which is more balanced. I don't know. There's something about this deck that just feels more like the energies are in alignment in a way that's more objective than a lot of tarot decks I've seen. So that's, I guess, why I picked this one as the Cortado. Okay. Next one. What is this next category? Oh, I almost got rid of this one too because I was struggling a little bit. This is the Con Panna, a deck that puts you in your place, but with a hint of sweetness. And for this deck, this might seem a little weird to some to call it sweet. This is the Teeny Tiny Tarot. I've already talked before about why my box is janky. Don't at me. Just look at my past videos. The reason why I say this deck will put you in your place is because this deck sometimes has a lot of sass to it. But it's also cute and sweet at the same time. Well, creepy cute is, I guess, a better word. But it is a little bit of sweetness, right? Like, where is it? I'm trying to find one that's kind of like... puts you in your place. Oh. Kind of. See, it's not like... How do I explain this? The reason why this deck puts me in my place is more related, not necessarily to the artwork for me, but me on a personal level reading with this deck. I've just done a few readings with this deck where it's been just sassy about what cards it wants to give me, but it has this cute, creepy artwork where you're just like, okay, you were kind of being a bitch, but I guess you said it kind of nicely. Oh, like this 9. Like, what the hell? So that's why I say this deck kind of is my Con Panna, because it's more about how it's been laid out for me, I guess, than the artwork. I had to explain this one because it's not immediately known, right? Okay, next one is the Chai Latte, a deck that's warm, cozy, and nurturing. And no one who has seen or owned this deck is going to be literally surprised by this at all. This is the Spacious Tarot. This deck is all about nurturing you and being kind and being warm and cozy. Even when it's not always warm and cozy, it's still, I don't know, it just gives those vibes a lot. It's just so comforting and calm and lets you just, like, even this card that feels a little more sad and dramatic is still warm and nourishing and not as scary as it normally. Oh, I have the expansion pack also in here. Sorry about that. Yeah. I don't know. This could also technically be a hug deck, because this deck is all about like trying to calm you down in some ways. So yeah, this is the Spacious Tarot, and it is warm and cozy for the most part. It's just trying to nurture you, right? It's trying to make you happy. Like even the box, right? It says this space is for you. Like it's trying to make space for you and like, be like, oh, sweetie, it's okay. Like, everything's going to be fine. So that's the Spacious Tarot. I'm at number 10 now. the Matcha Latte, a deck that's an acquired taste or a bit unconventional. I'm going to be honest, I almost picked the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot for this, but I went with a different deck entirely because I also think this deck is an acquired taste and not for everybody. Like, I would not say it's for everybody. And that is the Stunning Tarot by Jonas Jaus. This is particularly the second edition. And, oh, God, I'm like fucking... Something about her packaging on her tuck boxes. I keep fucking them up. I'm sorry. This is the second edition. Oh, second. Okay. Well, if you're going to stay in there, I'm just going to keep you in there. This deck is an unconventional and an acquired taste because, well, these backs are more palatable. These are cool backs. This is why I wanted the second edition. But the colors, warning you now, very eye burnery, right? Even just how punchy the artwork is, like, look at that. Ugh, the shade of yellow, I don't immediately like it, even me. But the reason why I have this deck is because this has more shades of pink in it, and I think the purples are toned down from some of the other editions. But this deck is weird. It's different. It's edgy. Like, her artwork for this deck is, like, intense and otherworldly. And I wouldn't say just, like, based on the style, like, even this, right? And, oh, and this deck, spoiler, sorry, it has more nudity in it. And not everybody's okay with that. Even for me, it's kind of, like, on the edge of, like, what I like. I don't like decks with high nudity. That's just my own preference. Because reasons. I'm not going to explain those right now. But, like, even this Devil Seat and, like, this Temperance, like, the bright colors. This is an acquired taste. I'm still trying to acquire some of the taste for this one. I don't know how long, because of that, it'll last in my collection, but this is an acquired taste deck. And that is why I think this is my Matcha Latte. Despite not having any green in this one. No green. Just a lot of bright yellows. It probably would have been better if it had green, in my opinion. Anyways, sorry, that's rambly. Number 11 is the Hot Chocolates. This is a deck that speaks to a younger version of yourself. And because of... Oh, sorry, my notes were showing it. Yeah, younger version of myself is the Wonderworld Tarot. And the reason why I say that is because... For those who don't know, I am a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is literally one of my favorite books. But I was particularly obsessed with Alice in Wonderland during my middle school and high school years. So this definitely speaks to a younger version of myself, right? It has this bold... except I don't like the cardstock, sorry. It's bold... It's punchy. Two cards came at once. I mean, at least in the tones, right? The color tones. But it speaks to a younger version of myself because it's all about Alice and the world that she occupies and all the characters that encompass that. And it speaks to my dreamy self that I used to indulge more in. Actually, I hesitate. I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I was going to make a remark about significators, but I'm not going to do that right now. But because I was obsessed with Alice in Wonderland at a younger age, I still am, but I'm not as high key about it as I used to be. That's why I think this deck speaks to my younger self. So that is the Hot Chocolate deck. And now this next one is going to go quick. Only because I feel like in general, there's not much you can say or do about this deck. This is the Italian Soda. It's a deck that's fun, low-key, not overtly serious at all. And for me, that is the Moonlight Crystal Tarot. This deck is one that can be found... Oh, it doesn't say on here. You can find this deck on Etsy. Okay, the creator's Canadian, so for those of you who are Canadian, it might actually be less to ship it to you if you want to cute, if you want a cute, fun deck like this. This deck is also mini. So this is like the smallest deck, one of the smallest decks I own besides the Monsoon Tarot. But this deck is not very serious at all. It's, as you can see, right? It's a very simple style. It's kind of pippish. But it's fun and cute, and like, who wouldn't want this cute funness? You know what this deck kind of reminds me of? Is the Kawaii Tarot. Not the one with all the animals, but the other one that's very pippish. Kind of reminds me of that when I first, when I first saw it. But yeah, it's not a serious reader at all. It's just kind of one of those fun little collectible almost decks. I'll admit this is one of the only like decks that I kind of just got it because I like the art style, but yeah, it's not really serious at all. So that is the Moonlight Crystal, and that is my Italian soda deck. Next up is the last one of the originals, and then remember, because I'm extra, because I am a literal mocha drink, I added 2 more. So number 13 is supposed to be the, not supposed to, it is, the herbal tea, a deck that takes things down a notch or helps you unwind. And I had to think about this one because I don't always use tarot to be light and fluffy and like calm down. But a deck that I think gives me those vibes or makes me like feel a little more calm is the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot by 3 Trees Tarot. This is the mini. Remember, they have a mini now. Very cute. It's just very, see, it's like, it's so sweet and calming. I mean, it's not like, see this, like, especially the Emperor and with the dark, because it undulates between like lighter sky and like nighttime vibes or like dusk vibes like this. So it just makes you slow down, calm down, and gives you moments to breathe and to think. So it helps you unwind, at least for me. I don't know. It's like, it's hard to stay like, I don't know, in a mood when you have like cute little animals like this. So this deck kind of helps me wind down, you know. And yeah. Oh wow, this video is already getting longer, so I should probably show the 2 categories I added. Now, I'm going to explain these 2. I don't know if anybody's going to do these 2 extra, and it's okay. You really don't have to. This was just me being extra. Because I wanted to talk about these decks today. I don't know why. The itch was there. Number 14 for me is called the Coffeehouse Special. This is a deck that is fancy, like way beyond fancy, beyond indulgent, and it's kind of experimental. You know what I mean? Because like a coffeehouse specialty drink is usually one where they're like trying to be different. You can only find that drink at that coffee house, and it's usually incorporating some kind of other flavors that you normally wouldn't expect. So it's only, it's like only to that coffee house. That's why it's the coffee house special. And so you're thinking, okay, what deck could that be? Like, what is a specialty deck to you? And for me, it is the 5-cent tarot. And that's especially so because this is beyond, this is extra. This is beyond extra. You could have said this was maybe a mocha deck also, but no, this one's very extra. This is very fancy. Like, look at this. Lavender. Oh, I have the lavender edition. By the way, you know how this deck's also fancy? You could literally get this deck in so many different colors, right? Like the backs and the edging. So that's how you know it's fancy. It does so, see? Is that cold stamping? Is that what that's called? I don't know what this is called. The inlay? I don't remember. Fancy, beyond indulgent. And the style of this deck is very experimental, right? It's very vintagey. It's very different. And it has keywords on it, which not everybody likes. Even the reverse, right, has the keywords to show you. So this deck is a Coffeehouse specialty. If you saw this, you would only assume it comes from one place, right? And it is. You can find this deck on Etsy. But you're not going to find another one like this very much. I can't think of anything yet that's quite like this deck. It is unique. It is different. It is very fanciful. And yeah, this is a Coffeehouse specialty, right? So that is the 5-cent tarot. And again, I have the lavender edition. I don't actually know if that edition exists anymore, because last I was checking or something, I don't know, unless he's planning to do a third printing, he was starting to run out of certain colors. I don't want to create FOMO, sorry if you like the lavender, but that's what I last saw. So definitely check on the Etsy for this, by Madame Clara. Oh, it doesn't say on the box. Oh, wait, yes, it does. Madame Clara sees all. But yeah, 5-cent tarot. That's the Coffeehouse specialty. Last one is, I don't know why I wanted to talk about this deck today. Kind of weird. The last category I'm adding is called the iced coffee. This is a deck that you might only whip out during the summer or when you want to cool off. So I guess it depends on where you are in the world too, because I guess some places are hotter than others. Anyways, and you might drink iced coffee more often, but I only usually drink iced coffee in the hotter months, being in California. And the deck I picked for this category, the iced coffee, is the Tempest Tarot, because this deck also is very nautical. My one complaint, I've already talked about this, my one complaint is that this deck is it does not feel 100% finished to me, because it is not colored completely. Like, why wasn't this colored more? I don't know. I don't like how much white space it 100% has. So that's why maybe it would only whip it out during a time of year where I feel like white space. Because it's nautical too, it reminds me more of the summertime. It reminds me more of the ocean, of the need to cool off in hot weather. So this is more of a nice coffee drink. I wouldn't always whip this one out. I don't. I think if maybe this creator, I say this in the nicest way possible, but if this creator could please do a second edition where it's actually more colored, I would 100% get that edition in a heartbeat. I would, because the art is beautiful. But see, I want the deck to be 100% like this. I want all color. And that's why this is only a sometimes deck, right? But the vibe of this deck is very much like a cool off deck, because it's, I don't know, something about it kind of calms me down. I guess it is the white space. And you could say, well, then maybe you need the white space. But at the same time, I don't want it all. I don't know. It still cools me down, though. Keeps things, seasonal. I don't know. Wow, that flub right at the end. I guess that's the way to end this video. I smack my goddamn camera and it's telling me, you're done, bitch. You're done. I'm done. But that is the iced coffee. So thank you so much, Kay, for creating this tag. Super fun. Super fun. I got way too into it because I love coffee, but thank you so much. And I'm going to leave now. Bye.